Michael Cohen's testimony before the House Oversight Committee on February 27th offered multiple avenues for further scrutiny of President Trump's business and personal dealings before, during, and after the presidential campaign.
Replacing George this week is my chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg.
Alan Weisselberg is the Trump Organization's chief financial officer and has worked for the Trump family for decades. Cohen said Weisselberg was involved in a hush money scheme in 2016.
The President of the United States thus wrote a personal check for the payment of hush money as part of a criminal scheme to violate campaign finance laws.
He submitted a copy of a check signed by Donald Trump Jr. and Weisselberg to reimburse Cohen for paying off Stormy Daniels, the adult film actress who had alleged having an affair with Trump. Weisselberg was granted immunity for his cooperation in the federal investigation into Cohen in 2018.
And why was Mr. Sekulow in the meeting?
Because he was going to be representing Mr. Trump going forward as one of his personal attorneys in this matter. I believe it was also reviewed by Abby Lowell, who represents Ivanka and Jared Kushner.
Cohen also implicated Abby Lowell and Jay Sekulow. Lowell has represented Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Sekulow has represented Trump himself. Cohen alleged that Lowell and Sekulow altered his previous testimony to Congress about the timeline of the Trump Tower Moscow deal.
Catch and kill is a method that exists when you're working with a news outlet. In this specific case, it was AMI, National Enquirer, David Pecker, Dylan Howard, and others, where they would contact me or Mr. Trump or someone and state that there's a story that's percolating out there that you may be interested in. And then what you do is you contact that individual and you purchase the rights to that story from them.
Cohen also named former National Enquirer editor Barry Levine, American Media Incorporated chief executive David Pecker, and National Enquirer editor Dylan Howard as individuals of interest who might know about stories that AMI bought and then killed to help Trump.
Mr. Cohen, where would we find business records that explain the president's relationship to the convicted Russian mobster Felix Sater? Would those be in the Trump Organization's files?
They'd be in the Trump Organization's files.
Russian businessman Felix Sater was one of Trump's business associates and had an office in Trump Tower. Sater had deals to build Trump Soho in New York and was heavily involved in the pursuit of a Trump Tower in Moscow during the 2016 campaign.
These financial statements were used by me for two purposes. One was discussing with media, whether it was Forbes or other magazines, to demonstrate Mr. Trump's significant net worth. That was one function. Another was when we were dealing later on with insurance companies, we would provide them with these copies.
Did this information provided to us inflate the president's assets?
I believe these numbers are inflated.
Cohen alleged Ron Lieberman and Michael Calamari had knowledge of Trump's alleged fraud in inflating his assets to an insurance company. Calamari is a longtime Trump associate that began as a bodyguard and occasional chauffeur and rapidly ascended the ranks in the Trump Organization. Lieberman is a Trump Organization Executive Vice President of Management and Development, and he helps run Trump's golf courses.